Well, it's casual Saturday here in Scottsdale, Arizona on February 1st, 2020. I'm getting a lot of questions about the coronavirus. How is this going to impact us? How is this going to impact us as baby boomers? What should we do? Well, we have been talking for the last 6 months, 9 months, a year about how fragile the U.S. economy is. Actually, we've been talking about how fragile the whole global economy is, and you can certainly see that. I mean, Europe's a basket case. They're having all kinds of problems over there. And the U.S. industrial production is certainly slowing. We've been watching the Cass Freight Index. You can watch the Cass Freight Index. It monitors trucking, it monitors railroads, barges, and freighters. It's showing how the goods and services are being shipped around the country. And of course, it's slowing and it's going down to about a 10-year low. We're also watching the Baltic Dry Index, which is a global index. That does the same thing on a global scale, and it tells us that shipping around the world has also slowed. It's still, of course, they're still shipping, but they're at about a 10-year low. So the economy is fairly fragile. We've been talking about that as a risk parameter in the economy. For us, we have to be very careful with our investments because, as baby boomers, we can't get this money back. We don't want to lose 30 or 40% of our money. We want to be prudent. So we've had risk. So the coronavirus has added a new ingredient to the mix. That new ingredient is fear. What happens when people get fearful? They start to pull in their investments, and we saw that last week in the Dow. We saw down 400 points, came up a couple hundred points, and Friday down over 600 points Friday. Now, I talked to Dr. Nenner a couple weeks ago. Dr. Nenner told me to watch for interest rates dropping in the U.S., and he told me to watch for stock market turmoil, and he also thought the stock market was also going to be at risk and be heading down. So kudos to you, Dr. Nenner. Nice job. Friday, we saw that the U.S. bond market inverted. We got an inverted yield curve with the 10-year note going to about 1.53. That certainly is fear in the marketplace. And when you get an inverted yield curve, it's talking about fear in the U.S. economy as well. So what do we do with this? Well, we have likened our economy to standing on the edge of a cliff waiting for a catalyst to push it over. Now, in China, they're talking about over 100,000 people that are quarantined. Now, these people aren't going to work. They're not shopping. They're not buying food. They're not buying at the restaurants. They're not buying things. They're not adding to the system. They're taking from the system. And we have a very fragile system. So if this coronavirus gets worse, it could spread, and I don't know if it starts killing people, but if it starts sickening people and becomes a pandemic or an epidemic across the globe, it could very, very well push the economy into recession, and we are certainly on a recession watch. I'm not calling for a recession, but I'm saying things are slowing down, and whenever things are slowing down, you need to be aware that they could go to a recession. So we're still on recession watch. So what do you do? Well, Dr. Nenner, again, gave you some suggestions. He said that the U.S. bond market would be a very good place to park some money. Again, kudos to you, Dr. Nenner. Came up perfectly. And, of course, we're seeing that the U.S. Treasuries, which are considered probably the most safest investment in the world because we're reserve currency, they've gone to all-time lows or heading to all-time lows of 1.53. And he also mentions precious metals. Silver and gold, and of course gold has been a store of value for thousands of years. I can't imagine it's going to change now. So you could park some money into some precious metals. Again, talk to your financial advisor, find out what is prudent and good for you. The only problem with precious metal is there's no income or yield coming off them. And as you see the U.S. Treasury market drop in yield, that also means that there's no income coming off that, and that goes to my marketplace real estate, which is still regional. And of course, we have 6 very good regional markets in the United States. And with interest rates dropping, it's just making these markets even better. Now, recently, I upgraded Phoenix and Las Vegas to neutral because I've been on a correction watch. We've had a little bit of a correction, not much in the United States, but we have corrected a little bit. And we're getting to the end of that correction. And I've raised Phoenix and Las Vegas to neutral. And we're seeing organic growth in both those markets, principally because we're next door to California. And California has its own set of problems. And people are leaving in droves. Here in metropolitan Phoenix, we received over 100,000 people net coming here. That's over 300 people a day, every single day. And they're impacting housing. Rentals are really hard to find. Housing is going up in value because we've had pressure on housing. It's hard to imagine. We actually have a housing shortage here because of all the new residents that are coming here. So again, Dr. Nenner nailed it. He said small units, small condos, small townhomes, and of course, entry-level housing, which is easily rented and has a wide appeal, and you can get a yield and cash flow while you're waiting out any economic turmoil. This would be a great place, a conservative place for you to park some money. Again, talk to your financial advisor and find out what's prudent for you, but this might also be a good place because you get yield. Actually, you're going to get probably double what you'd get in the S&P market, maybe almost triple, because we're doing very, very well. So it's time for you to pay attention. If this coronavirus gets worse, you need to talk to your advisor and find out what's good for you. Talk to your spouse, and if you'd like, you're welcome to talk to me here in Phoenix, Arizona. So my very best for you. Good luck and goodbye. Bye-bye now.